Hello and welcome. In today's episode, I am making a mini worm bin for my sister. I start out rehydrating coconut coir. The tools I'll be using are 2 small 1-gallon buckets and a lid. I've already begun to drill holes in this bucket. I'll be using a sander to sand down these holes to make sure there are no rough patches. But this is how I started out, with a 1-gallon bucket, drilled holes along the bottom and along the top, and I will be drilling holes in the lid in just a moment. I'm using this drill bit going in reverse so that it does not leave a lot of sharp edges in the hole. So it's going to take a few moments, but I'm going to drill holes in this lid. This is a simple project. If you're interested in keeping a worm bin of your own, you can use items that you already have or items that you get on clearance in order to create your very own worm bin, as you see me doing here. Now that I have the holes drilled in the bucket, I am trying to reconstitute this brick of coconut coir. This is going to take a few moments, but once you have your coconut coir reconstituted, then you'll be able to start putting together your very own worm bin. I use coconut coir because the worms seem to like it, and it doesn't seem to raise the pH in my existing worm bin, so I'm going to use what I feel works. In my home, I use rainwater, but my sister isn't there yet, so I have to use municipal water. But that's okay, use what you have. Now that the coconut coir has been reconstituted to the point that I could use it, I'm wringing out some of the water and adding some coconut coir on the bottom of this bucket. You want to make sure that your coconut coir is not wringing wet. Your worms are going to make their own moisture, but they do not want to live in sopping wet environment. Now that I've placed the coconut coir in the bottom bucket where the worms are going to be housed, I need to address the bucket with the holes. This bucket is going to be the feeding bucket. I'm going to place a little bit of coconut coir in here and then a little bit of food. I'm using what I have available to me at the time. So this is the top, or the lid. I used some weed barrier to be able to secure the top so the worms don't get out. Now here are the worms that traveled with me to my sister's. As you can see, I use a recycled container. Here is the moment of truth. Did my worms survive? As you can see, I topped them with a little bit of paper, shredded paper. I even fed them. I fed them before I left my house. And I'm going to transfer the food from off the top into the food bucket. And then I'm going to take the worms out of this container and put them in the bucket with just the coconut coir where they're going to live. So as you can see here, I'm just taking out that paper that I had on top as well as the food. I hope you guys can see I actually have some help with someone holding my camera. So this is a little bit wonky, but that's okay. We're making it work. So I've taken the worms and dumped them out. Can you see some of the worms, you guys? They made it. They're healthy. They're happy. They're not sluggish. And I can't believe I grabbed that many worms, but there's a nice big hunk of worms in here. I'm going to take a little bit of water and swirl it around that container to make sure that I've gotten out all of my little worms and dump them inside of this bottom bucket. At this point right here, my mom is pretty much grossed out. So she's about ready to run. So I'm sorry that you guys can't see all that well, but look at those worms. Don't they look healthy? Don't they look happy? Look at that. I'm so excited. Now it's time for me to seat this top bucket where the food is going to be on top of the bottom bucket. And as I can see now, there's a little bit too much coconut coir in the bottom bucket. So I'm going to have to take a little bit of that out and put it in the top because I want to make sure that this top bucket sits nicely into the bottom bucket without anyone having to push it down because you don't want to squash your worms. That is how you create your very own worm bin. I hope you all enjoyed this content as much as I enjoyed bringing it to you. Until next time, have a great day and I'll see you in the next video. Bye for now.